When we go to visit our doctors, we are literally putting our lives in their hands, but there are certain secrets that they don't want us to know about. Lucky for us, we've got an insider always ready to dish. Please welcome back our good buddy, Dr. Youn. Dr. Youn is a published author now. This is his memoir, and I love the title, In Stitches. And it has a lollipop in the center of all of these body parts. And, you know, I think that this book, it really sums it up on the top. The New York Times bestseller, Jen Lancaster, her quote's on the front. Surprisingly warm and unquestionably witty. It's a fun read for people, right?
That's what it is. It's a humorous book about becoming a doctor.
It's a humorous book about becoming a doctor, but some of the things probably won't be so humorous to us. But he's going to tell us a couple of them. But he's actually going to start, this book outs not only a lot of doctors, but you come clean yourself about a few things, don't you?
Yeah, so exactly. So today we're going to talk about secrets, and it wouldn't be fair if I revealed the secrets of other doctors and didn't reveal something about myself.
Right.
So my secret is that I have had major plastic surgery done to my face. And basically, I grew up as this skinny little kid with big glasses and a massive jaw. You can see that jaw is twice the size of Jay Leno's jaw. And I underwent major plastic surgery between my high school and college years that actually broke my jaw and set it back.
Oh, my God.
And at the time, looking like that, I couldn't find a date to save my life. And I thought, well, geez, I'm going to have this surgery. I'm going to become a ladies' man.
Right.
And it didn't really work out that way. Strangely, I still couldn't find a date afterwards.
Oh, it did work out eventually.
Eventually it did.
You must have found at least one date.
Yes, I did. Yeah.
Okay, so now let's get down to brass tacks. In the book, In Stitches, why don't you start with stitches? Tell everybody what they need to know about how surgeons learn to become surgeons.
Well, the first thing actually I want to tell you about exactly how that thing came about. I mean, the whole thing with the book is that there are a lot of books out there written by doctors that really are overly serious and they're kind of grim. And so the reason why I actually wrote this was, number one, to really show that the funny truth about what it's really like to become a doctor. And so there are scenes here...
To lighten it up a little.
Yeah, so there are scenes here that really show that I went years and years without being able to find a date. There are scenes here where I was terrorized by an 80-year-old woman in my gross anatomy class. And the craziest thing is that the first patient I was assigned to as a medical student actually died 3 seconds right in front of me after I shook my hand and shook their hand and introduced myself. So this is a book...
I don't know that I would have thrown that one in there, really.
It wasn't my fault. They marked me down for it, but it still wasn't my fault. So like this book then tells the secret moments in the making of a doctor. Today we're going to talk about 3 secrets that your doctor doesn't want you to know.
Well, tell us about the stitches.
All right.
I know what they are already. You're going to be like, shut up.
Okay.
Really?
So how do we learn how to suture as doctors? Well, the first thing is we take a board like this, and it's just like if you're in Boy Scouts or Girl Scouts, and we learn how to tie knots.
How to tie the knots and all that, yeah.
So where do we go after tying the knots? Well, then we go to the pig's foot. And the fact is the skin of a pig's foot is the closest thing we have to the skin of a human. So I used to keep these Porky's Piggies in my freezer and would practice suturing on them every night to get good.
That's not so bad.
And then you go to cadavers, and finally we go to real people. And the big secret is this: medical students and residents practice suturing on you while you're sleeping.
Yeah. The guy you think is doing it steps out, and they let the kids in to have a little practice session.
So we need to practice to get good, but the truth is, if you meet a medical student or resident prior to having surgery, there is a good chance that they're going to be practice suturing on you while you're under anesthesia.
Excellent. So, hope they wore their good glasses that day.
The thing I'll put you at ease. I mean, I've worked with a lot of surgeons in my day, and every single one I've worked with has made sure that the end result looks exactly like they would have done.
Like they would want it to,
exactly.
of course, so they wouldn't let them in there. Next secret?
Well, the next thing that I want to talk about is, you know, you go to see the physician. You may remember the last time you saw a doc, they have you change your clothes, they examine you, then they step out for a minute while you change back in. And you think that while you're changing your clothes back to regular clothes that they're maybe making some calls or doing paperwork.
You're not going to tell me they got a peephole or something.
Well, no. Well, in reality, a lot of doctors are running back to their office. They jump on their computer and Google what symptoms you have to try to figure out what medical condition you may have.
I can do that, right?
So doctors utilize Google and Wikipedia to diagnose your medical condition. And the fact is that, you know, we can't remember. People think that doctors are smart enough to remember everything written in books like this, but this is over 2,000 pages. I can't remember, you know, half the things that I did the day before, much less everything in this book. So we are now utilizing the internet like a lot of other specialties. Exactly.
From a bigger brain.
Exactly.
Right. But doesn't that creep you out big time knowing that? All right. right, and last but not least, I'm scared to ask.
Well, I have a question for you. What do you call the person who graduates ranked absolutely last in medical school?
Not my doctor, I hope?
Well, that's an answer. The answer is doctor. Okay, so the fact is that one of the big surprises when I went to medical school was it is very difficult to flunk out of medical school. In most medical schools, if you fail an exam, you just keep taking it again and again until you pass it. And I knew one student, it took him 8 years to get through 4 years of medical school. And at the end, he was an MD just like me.
Wow.
So how do you know if your doctor is at the top of their class or was ranked dead last?
Can we check their rank?
Well, you can't really ask for their transcript. They're probably not going to give it to you.
Right.
But what you can do is you go to your state's Department of Medicine and you make sure, number one, that they have a verified license to practice medicine in your state.
Right.
And make sure you also look for any disciplinary actions. But that is very, very basic.
Right.
The most important thing is make sure your doctor is certified by the American Board of Medical Specialties. And this is actually their symbol right here. But the American Board of Medical Specialties is the gold standard of physician certifying boards. So some docs may be able to pass the relatively easy exams to get licensed, and they can practice.
But they won't get that seal.
But you're not going to get that seal unless you pass the much more difficult tests.
That's the seal to burn y'all's brains right there, right?
That's what you want to make sure your doctor has.
Now, Dr. Youn was not only here to spill a couple of secrets about your docs, but he's also here to generously give everyone a copy of his book, In Stitches. If you like it, buy a copy and bring it to someone before they go to the doctor. Up next, I'm in the kitchen making Milanese-style spaghetti.